Coming up in this Brightline construction update. This update looks at the cutover of double track through Stuart. This cutover started at CP Rio in Jensen Beach and ended at CP Seabranch in Hobe Sound, and includes the new CP Port Sewall in Stuart. I'll start on the north end, looking at the area around the St. Lucie River and downtown Stuart. North of the Dixie Highway crossing, the former south end of the Rio siding was removed the prior week. The former north end was removed last year when CP Rio was put into service. North of the Alice Street crossing is the Rio Waterway Bridge. CP Stuart Drawbridge starts just south of the Fern Street crossing. Taking to the air, here's a look at the work ongoing at the Stuart Drawbridge. Crews continue to prepare for the upcoming multi-week closure of the bridge in April and May to rehabilitate the current bridge. A new building for an on-site bridge monitor is nearing completion. This bridge will soon be manned to help coordinate the additional closures coming with increased train crossings. Moving toward the south side of the river, and you can see the track through downtown Stuart. Underneath the US 1 bridge is the southern turnout for CP Stuart Drawbridge. The Stuart Drawbridge will be the only section of single track on the FEC corridor. So far, the existing bridge has had its ties replaced and new service walkway installed. If these barges and crane look familiar, it's because they were also used for the replacement of the Loxahatchee River Drawbridge. Scott Bridge Company is the contractor responsible for work at both bridges, and has been able to shift some of their resources here now that work at Loxahatchee is nearing completion. Coming around the corner on the north side is the north end of CP Stuart Drawbridge. Due to this sharp curve, speeds will be limited in this area. Due to the unique situation at this bridge, the turnouts at both the north and south ends of the bridge act as a single control point, since only one train can be between them, crossing the bridge at a time. That's why there aren't any signals on the single track end of either turnout, and only for trains approaching from the double track. Back on the ground, here's passing through downtown Stuart. Looking from the fence on the east side of the tracks, you can get a better look at the new tracks. Here are the new signals for CP Stuart Drawbridge. This point of view also gives a good opportunity to take a closer look at insulated joints, which I've mentioned in previous videos. They help divide the different signal blocks on the railroad that are created when the train wheels create a circuit between the rails. Wires run from the joint to the signal bungalow, where the signal data is interpreted. In addition, the wiring running to the various signal bungalows from the rail pass through these shunt tubes, which allow signal maintainers to cut out certain portions of the signal system when troubleshooting issues. This helps cut down on the time it takes to solve problems with the signal system. Back on the road headed south, and here's the St. Lucie Avenue crossing. And the Colorado Avenue crossing. Here's an aerial look at this crossing. While extremely complex, traffic flow has actually improved with the redesign of the crossing to add the second track. And a zoomed in look through downtown. And here's a look south. We'll now continue south to the new CP Port Sewall. Crews are working at all the crossings, beginning to activate all of the new crossing protection. Parts of an old wood turnout are piled up here, waiting to be scrapped. Here's a look south from Monterey Road. Just south of this crossing was the former north end of the Port Salerno siding. That turnout was removed the previous day, and the searchlight signals were removed earlier this day, which you can see lying on the ground here, waiting to be taken away. Surfacing equipment was continuing to work on the area where the turnout was removed to get the track finalized. And here's a spur to an industry at the Stuart Airport. This new signal bridge for CP Port Sewall was put into service this day. We'll take a closer look at it soon. Headed to the air, and here's the new cantilever signal on the south end of the new CP Port Sewall. Currently, only the left-hand crossover has been installed here. The right-hand one has been delayed by some outside factors and will be installed later this year. Enough was complete, however, to get the second track put into service through here. On the left is the new West Drill Track, which several industries are served from. And here's that new signal bridge. It has signals for 3 tracks, including the West Drill Track, but actually crosses 4 tracks. The East Drill Track, which has not been constructed yet, will not be controlled here and will simply pass under. You can see part of the East Drill Track constructed on the left here. Work is still ongoing on it, since it was not required to be complete for this cutover. In the distance, a de-stressing crew is working on the west main. De-stressing is the process the rail goes through to help deal with temperature swings. This is what allows the rail to be continuously welded, instead of having joints for expansion and contraction. And here's another look at the new cantilever. We'll now look at the southern end of the cutover from Port Sewell to CP Seabranch. Starting at Indian Street, here's that de-stressing crew working with a Holland electric flashbed welding truck to weld the rails. The East Drill Track still needs to be built to the south. And here's the south end of the former Port Sewell siding. The old searchlight signals were already loaded up on a truck to be taken away. The old wooden turnout is stacked up here, ready to be scrapped. Surfacing crews were also working here on the west main. Here's the ballast regulator from that surfacing set, working north of Seaward Street. As a bonus, here's a look at the old Port Sewell South location from the other side of the tracks. A track stabilizer was parked on the west main, between Seaward Street and Salerno Road. The base for this cutover was here at the Salerno Road crossing. The Salerno Waterway North Bridge is south of this crossing. You may have noticed the flaggers sitting at all the crossings. They are on site 24/7 for the duration of the cutover, while the new crossing protection is activated and tested for service. The new intermediate signals south of Broward Avenue are now active. The rest of the route south has been completed for a while, as several temporary alignments that required using different sections of both tracks had been in place while work on all the short bridges through here was going on. So not much has changed. With the completion of this cutover, all of the new double track is now in service south of CP Oslo and Vero Beach. There is still plenty of work though throughout all these areas to get the tracks up to FRA Class 6 standards for 110 mph running from the current Class 4 standard. Since both tracks are now in service, the ballast cars that had been stored on the inactive track here have been relocated. And here's the official end of the cutover at CP Seabranch. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also check out my social media pages.